I'm Maria Rossi, 70 years old. And for 40 years, I've carried the searing sting of a betrayal that robbed me of my culinary destiny and reshaped my existence. It was the winter of 1985, a frigid morning in Melbourne. The air sharp with the earthy scent of eucalyptus drifting through the cracked window of Mancini's trattoria as I faced my former boss, Carlo Mancini, in the steamy, chaotic kitchen that had once been my sanctuary. I was 30 then, a passionate chef with a deep-rooted love for Italian cuisine. My handmade gnocchi, light as pillows, and rich ragu, infused with a secret blend of herbs, turning heads in Carlton's tight-knit dining scene. I joined Carlo's kitchen in 1982, fresh from a rigorous culinary school in Bologna, my recipes adding a vibrant soul to his otherwise pedestrian menu, earning us a loyal following of locals and food critics alike. The trattoria, nestled in a converted warehouse with exposed brick walls and a flickering neon sign, buzzed with the promise of growth. My innovations, tiramisu with orange zest, a lighter marinara, driving its early success. But that day, as I presented my latest creation, a dessert that blended my Nana's tiramisu with a twist of citrus, Carlo's demeanor shifted from mentor to betrayer. "You'll never be head chef, Maria. Stick to peeling potatoes," he barked, his voice slicing through the clatter of knives and the hiss of the grill, his eyes cold with ambition. He revealed he'd stolen my recipes, submitting them under his name to the Melbourne Food Festival, a prestigious event that catapulted his reputation, and fired me with fabricated accusations of sabotage and insubordination, staging a kitchen fire to support his claims. The courts, swayed by his restaurant's growing fame and my lack of witnesses, my recipe notes vanished in that accidental blaze, ruled against me in 1986, leaving me jobless, my reputation charred across Melbourne's culinary circles. My husband, Luca, a gentle carpenter with calloused hands and a heart of gold, stood by me, but our savings evaporated under legal fees. Our dream of a vineyard retreat in the Yarra Valley postponed indefinitely, replaced by the cramped reality of a Fitzroy flat with peeling wallpaper. Those words, "never be head chef, stick to peeling potatoes," became a relentless echo, a bitter undertone to every quiet moment of the decades that followed, haunting me as I chopped onions or kneaded dough. I can still feel the weight of those early months after the ruling, sitting on a threadbare couch in our Fitzroy flat, the distant clang of trams a constant reminder of my fall from grace, as I sifted through job listings in faded newspapers. The flat, with its chipped paint, creaky floorboards, and a kitchen barely big enough for a single stove, was a stark contrast to the vibrant trattoria I'd helped build, its tiny balcony overlooking a graffiti-streaked alley. Luca took on extra woodworking commissions, his evenings spent sanding tables by the dim glow of a lamp, his quiet humming a lifeline as our finances crumbled. I rebuilt with small catering gigs, weddings in community halls, birthdays in backyards, local markets under canvas tents. Each dish a testament to my skill, every payment a step toward survival. Our son, Matteo, born in 1987 after years of longing, grew up amid flour-dusted counters and simmering pots, his childish questions a tender ache. "Why don't you work with Uncle Carlo anymore, Mama?" he'd ask, his small hands mimicking my rolling pin. I'd smile, weaving tales of new recipes to share. But the truth gnawed at me. Carlo had turned my network against me, his narrative of my unreliability poisoning sous chefs and suppliers alike, his charm a mask for his deceit. Carlo's restaurant soared in the years that followed. Mancini's trattoria expanded to South Yarra, then opened a chain across Victoria, his name a brand on menus from Bendigo to Geelong, his wealth displayed in a bayside villa with manicured olive trees, a fleet of delivery vans, and a wine cellar stocked with Italian imports. He hosted lavish food festivals, his laughter booming through Melbourne's culinary elite, his wife Sophia parading in designer aprons, his daughter Elena training at a prestigious culinary academy, while I clawed my way up, opening a catering business by 1995 from our flat's kitchen. My clients grew, family reunions, food trucks at festivals, even a few boutique cafes, who savored my authenticity, my reputation a quiet undercurrent in Melbourne's food scene. But the wound festered. Carlo's smug appearances at food expos were a parade of condescension, his boasts of Michelin star aspirations, Sophia's jewelry glinting under gallery lights, Elena's awards a sharp reminder of my stolen legacy, each encounter a fresh cut. My parents, both gone by 2010, had believed his lies, their final years dimmed by his version of events, their letters to me filled with concern over my failed career. Matteo, now a chef at a modest bistro, wrestled with guilt, his early career shadowed by Carlo's influence, his attempts to reconcile with me strained by his childhood admiration for the man. Luca's unwavering support, his hand-carved wooden utensils, his late-night tastings of my sauces, his stories of Tuscan vineyards, kept me anchored, his love a steady flame in the cold. The turning point came 9 years ago, in 2016, when the first cracks in Carlo's facade emerged. His restaurant faced health violations over spoiled seafood, clients like a popular cafe chain defected to rivals, and rumors of recipe theft leaked to food blogs. At 61, with my hands trembling from arthritis after decades of chopping and stirring, I began my discreet investigation, tapping old kitchen staff over cups of espresso at hidden cafes. I'd meet them in the early mornings, my notebook a shield, listening to their tales of Carlo's decline. Overworked staff, cut corners, a kitchen culture of fear. Last month, on July 20th, 2025, I sat with Giuseppe, a former sous chef who'd left in 2010, at a quiet cafe in North Melbourne, the aroma of fresh pastries a faint comfort. His weathered hands, scarred from years at the grill, pass me a USB drive. He's desperate. Stolen recipes, falsified awards, health code breaches, he whispered, his voice thick with regret. The tiramisu's yours, Maria. My pulse raced. This was the ammunition I'd waited for. On August 5th, 2025, I contacted Anna, a food critic I'd met at a community market who'd exposed restaurant scandals with a fierce pen. We met at her cluttered office, her desk buried under tasting notes, as she reviewed the USB photos of my 1985 tiramisu sketch, logs of Carlo's theft, emails of bribed inspectors. This could end his career, she said, her eyes narrowing. But we need the perfect moment. On August 21st, 2025, I dug deeper, turning my kitchen into a detective's lair. Amid recipe books and flour sacks, I accessed public health records online, my fingers stiff, but resolute. At 10 a.m., I found it, a 2015 health violation report buried in archives, tied to my stolen marinara recipe, now linked to a recent outbreak. My hands shook as I printed it, the past merging with the present in a rush of clarity. That evening, at 6:36 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on August 27, 2025, I sat by my window, the Melbourne skyline a soft glow through the dusk, plotting my next move. The annual Melbourne Food Festival was on September 12th, a glittering event to mask Carlo's decline. I'd attend, not as the potato peeler, but as his reckoning. What he didn't know was I'd transformed my pain into a culinary weapon, honed by 40 years of resilience and silent ambition. The 3 weeks leading to the festival were a delicate ballet of strategy and concealment, my days at the catering kitchen a mask for the revenge simmering beneath my apron. By September 1st, 2025, my Fitzroy kitchen, its walls lined with recipe books yellowed by time, its counters dusted with flour from decades of use, its air filled with the faint scent of oregano, evolved into a command center where every stir of a spoon fueled my resolve. Anna and I met nightly, her notebook open on my wobbly dining table as we dissected the USB and health records. My 1985 tiramisu, with its orange zest innovation, had won Carlo a festival gold medal, its success a cornerstone of his fame, while my marinara, lightened with a touch of basil oil, had been replicated poorly, leading to the 2015 violation. Giuseppe's data revealed a pattern. Stolen sauces from 1990, fake reviews bought in 2018, a near shutdown in 2023 hushed with bribes, a house of cards ready to collapse. I contacted Rosa, a retired health inspector who'd clashed with Carlo over a 1998 inspection, her voice crackling over a video call from her seaside home. This could trigger a full closure. Hit him at the festival, she advised, her eyes glinting with old grudges. I nodded, my plan a recipe crafted from 40 years of suppressed fury, each ingredient a memory of injustice, lost recipes, stolen praise, broken trust. The festival, set for 10 a.m. on September 12, 2025, at Federation Square, would be Carlo's stage, a gathering of chefs, media, food lovers, and industry dignitaries, all drawn by the promise of gourmet delights under a canopy of autumn leaves. I'd pose as a retired caterer, my white chef's coat faded but neatly pressed, my movements slow with a cane to mask my intent, my gray hair tied back in a bun, a nod to my past dignity. My role was to deliver the evidence to Anna, who'd signal Rosa's health department contacts at 11 a.m., timed with Carlo's live cooking demonstration, ensuring maximum humiliation. I secured an invitation through Teresa, a former client and festival organizer who'd savored my lasagna at her daughter's wedding, her memory of me untainted by Carlo's lies. She emailed it on August 25th, a laminated pass with my name in bold, her note reading, "So thrilled you're joining us, Maria." She suspected nothing, her enthusiasm a tool I'd wield with precision. Preparation was a grueling ritual, a blend of physical endurance and emotional steel. I practiced my gait daily, walking the park near our flat to perfect a weary shuffle and a warm, unassuming smile that hid my burning resolve, my cane tapping a rhythm of patience. I rehearsed lines, just here to taste the new flavors, though each word carried the weight of Carlo's betrayal, Luca's unwavering love, and Matteo's silent guilt over his childhood admiration for the man. Physically, I kneaded dough and chopped vegetables daily, my hands aching with arthritis, but each roll and slice bolstered my will to stand tall that day. I revisited old mementos, recipe cards from 1984 with my Nana's scrawl, a faded photo of me and Luca at the Trattoria's opening, a wooden spoon Matteo carved as a child, a festival rejection letter from 1985. Each item a thread in the tapestry of my determination. One night, I found a charred notebook page with my tiramisu sketch, its edges singed from Carlo's fire, and wept the lost potential of fuel for my fire. I also tracked Matteo's life, his bistro struggles, his recent engagement to a baker named Clara, hoping this act would mend our bond and secure his future. On September 9th, Carlo called, his tone dripping with false warmth. "Maria, the festival's a milestone. Bring Matteo. Let's bury the hatchet. Sophia's eager to see you." I agreed, my voice steady, hiding the storm within. He didn't suspect I'd coordinated with Anna, who'd lined up Rosa's health contacts, or that I'd commissioned a white coat with a hidden pocket, its fabric a shield of my past honor. The coat arrived on September 10th, tailored by a local seamstress, Elena, no relation to Carlo's daughter, who chatted about her son's cooking school dreams. Unaware of my mission, I tested the pocket, sliding the USB and printed report inside. There weighed a promise of justice. At 9:30 a.m. on September 12th, I arrived, the square alive with the sizzle of grills and the chatter of crowds, the Yarra River reflecting my inner resolve. Carlo spotted me near the main stage, his smirk tight. "Maria, still stirring pots?" "Nice effort," he quipped, his eyes scanning for weakness. I nodded, my cane steady, my pocket a silent arsenal, my heart thumping with the rhythm of 40 years. At 10:45 a.m., he began his demonstration, launching into a speech about his enduring culinary legacy and unmatched innovation as he prepared a marinara that echoed my stolen recipe. I scanned the scene, Matteo clapping awkwardly, Clara beside him, Media filming Sophia sipping espresso with a smug grin, Elena assisting her father. At 10:58 a.m., as Carlo plated his dish, I edged toward Anna, my pulse a drumbeat. I slipped her the USB and report, whispering, "Now." She nodded, texting Rosa. At 11:02 a.m., health inspectors stormed in, badges glinting under the morning sun, shouting, "Investigation underway." Carlo's pen clattered to the ground, his face draining of color as inspectors seized his ingredients and files, the crowd erupting into chaos. The festival dissolved into a whirlwind of pandemonium, crowds scattering like startled pigeons, media cameras swiveling to capture every second, Carlo's shouts drowned by the authoritative commands of health inspectors. Matteo stood stunned near a food stall, Clara's hand on his arm, his eyes wide with disbelief, while food lovers whispered furiously, their gourmet dreams shattered. I stood tall, my white coat a badge of my hard-earned resolve, my cane a symbol of strength, my heart pounding with 40 years of vindication and the bittersweet ache of a family nearly lost to Carlo's lies. Inspectors swarmed the stage, their green uniforms a stark contrast to the festive banners, cuffing Carlo as he roared, "This is a setup. Maria, you'll regret this." They read charges, health code violations, recipe theft, falsified awards, each word a hammer blow to his empire, the list growing with mentions of a $2 million fine for unlisted allergens. Anna approached, her voice steady amid the din. "They've got him dead to rights, Maria. You've done it." The media frenzy was immediate. Headlines like Mancini's crumbles and scandal and Chef's 40-year revenge blazed across screens by noon, my name a whisper of awe in the chaos. Carlo turned to me, his face flushed with rage, sweat beading on his brow, his pristine apron now smeared with sauce as inspectors tightened their grip. "You? After all these years, you bitter old cook? You've destroyed my legacy," he bellowed, his voice cracking with desperation. I met his gaze, unflinching, my voice clear despite the tremor in my hands. "You said I'd never lead, Carlo, never rise above peeling potatoes. I proved you wrong, with proof, with perseverance, with every dish I crafted while you stole and decayed. This is my payback, for me, for Matteo, for every cook you crushed, for every dream you burned." He lunged, his fist raised in a futile gesture, but inspectors restrained him, dragging him out as Sophia sobbed, her espresso cup shattering on the pavement. Matteo rushed to me, his voice breaking through the noise. "Mama, I didn't know. I'm so sorry for trusting him." I hugged him, the first embrace in years, Clara nodding in support, a bridge to a future we'd reclaim. The crowd buzzed with reporters, their microphones thrust toward me, but I turned away, my victory a private flame burning bright. The fallout was swift and unrelenting. Health inspectors shut down Mancini's trattoria, seizing kitchens in Carlton and South Yarra, freezing accounts, and halting deliveries across Victoria, while agents raided his villa for evidence of fraud. Carlo's empire collapsed, his chain restaurants abandoned, clients like a major hotel group fleeing, and his reputation, once a beacon of Melbourne's food scene, became a cautionary tale whispered in kitchens citywide. The media dug deeper, uncovering a $500,000 slush fund for bribed inspectors, a detail that sent shockwaves through the industry. Matteo reconciled fully, moving into our flat to help revive my catering business, his culinary skills blending with mine, while Clara joined as a baker, her sourdough a new chapter. Luca and I rekindled our bond, planning a vineyard trip to the Yarra Valley, our savings finally sufficient. Sophia vanished from public view, her social circle dissolving, and Elena, Carlo's daughter, distanced herself, seeking a career under a new name. I didn't gloat. My goal was justice, not destruction, but the sight of Carlo's fall brought a profound peace, a quiet satisfaction that filled the hollow left by his words. At 6:36 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on August 27, 2025, I sat with a glass of Chianti, the news confirming his arrest, a letter from Carlo in hand. "Maria, I was wrong. Forgive me, help me," it pleaded, his handwriting shaky with defeat. I didn't reply, the past too raw, my strength too hard-won to soften now. Months later, his trial began, prosecutors wielding my evidence, Giuseppe's testimony, and Rosa's health records with devastating precision. I attended the first day, my presence a silent testament to my journey, seated beside Matteo and Luca, and watched Carlo's defense crumble under the weight of truth, dozens of former staff stepping forward with tales of overwork and theft. The judge, a man with a stern demeanor, ordered a full investigation, hinting at jail time and a permanent ban from the industry. Matteo and I launched our business, Rossi and Son Catering, restoring family pride with authentic Italian fare, hiring Giuseppe as a consultant, his expertise a bridge to the past. Luca retired, joining me in teaching cooking classes for seniors. I visited the old trattoria once, its doors boarded, its kitchen silent, a monument to Carlo's greed and my redemption. My revenge, 40 years in the making, was not just justice. It was my rebirth, a life reclaimed from the ashes of his betrayal, a testament to the resilience I'd always carried.